I just hit that side of my tattoo. Okay, good morning. Rich Rising. It is 5:58, y'all. 5:58. I am not out of my bed. I'm gonna be honest, I'm not out of my bed, okay? I did not get up because I just had to look. I've been up since, well, I've been up and then I went back to sleep. I woke up and I went back to sleep, y'all. I really had to come bring this message because it just was getting so crazy in my dream. It was getting crazy, and I was like, you know what? Let me go. This message, like, it's so crazy. I know this message is for some spiritualists um out there. I was getting the message of sharing it. It's so crazy. It started at, I woke up at 4. Matter of fact, let me share this too. Let me share this to Twitter. Okay. Okay. So I just had to go share it on Twitter. But hey, Rich Rising. Y'all. So I was in this dream, right? I woke up at 4:04. It was 4:04. And when I first woke up, the first thing that happened the reason why I got out of the dream the first time is because I was in what it looked like a bank. It looked like it was a bank, right? Okay, so let me tell y'all the names that was relevant. I'm gonna say these names. India. That was one of the first names that I heard. Linda, Brian, Bianca. Um, oh my goodness, who is this other name that I heard? I don't remember the other name. I think it started with a oh my goodness. I don't know. It'll come to me. Okay, it'll come to me. So I'm inside of this bank, but it wasn't like a regular bank. It was a spiritual. This everything that I'm talking about. All these people were spiritualists that were in this quote unquote spiritual bank, right? There was no actual exchange of money that was happening there, but this was a wealth vault. Behind the counter, so there were two ladies sitting at the counter, and then I don't know, y'all know those long rectangle tables, right? There was something being displayed on those rectangle tables, and I was in the line with one of my, first of all, I wasn't in line with a spiritual friend that I knew, but this is somebody in the Astros that I have known, right? And so, like, in real life, I don't know this person for real. So I'm in line, but they feel familiar in the spirit, right? I'm in line with another spiritualist. And there's two spiritualists that are sitting behind the counter. There is, and the reason why I say this is a bank, because it was all set up like a bank and everything. Like, there's tables, 3 tables where you can open accounts at, right? And there's the first table, the first desk, three desks where you can open accounts. Y'all, I am just like shook. Y'all don't even understand. Like, I'm shook. Like, I just almost got into a fight. And it's so crazy. You almost just beat somebody's ass in the spiritual for somebody else. That's the crazy part, for somebody else. And so there's 3 desks. The first desk was empty. The second desk was where the quote unquote manager, the actual person that was doing the attacking, the problem, she's at the second desk, right? And then the third desk was another healer that they were being, everybody in this bank was being used. Everybody in this spiritual bank was being used. And the manager knew that everybody was being used. So I come into the bank, of course, right? I'm a spiritual ghostbuster. I come into the bank and I have this deck in my hand. It's called the lightseer deck, which is a deck that I'm not using it. A lot of people have this deck, but it's a lightseer deck. All right. So if you're a spiritualist or a tarot reader right now, and you're using the lightseer deck, it's a message in that deck right now. I promise y'all, if y'all have the lightseer deck, get that deck out, shuffle it up. There is a message or a download that you're going to be receiving about somebody that is spiritually trying to attack you. Use that particular deck. Okay? So I have the lightseer deck. I got chills right now, y'all. Like I just woke up. I literally just woke up and I sound like I've been up. That's the crazy part. I sound like I've been up. But I woke up at 4 o'clock. I got up. I put my robe on. I walked through my house. I went to my altar. I checked on my kids, you know, and then I came right back in the bed. And my husband got to the gym early as hell. Okay, so his alarm started going off at like 4:30. Right, his alarm went off at 4:30. I'm tossing and I'm turning and I'm trying to like go back to sleep. All right. My stomach started hurting. But the first time I got out of the dream is because when I walked into the bank, there's a lady at a long rectangle table. She tried to give me some coffee. Everybody, listen, y'all know I be on here and I be telling y'all I do not eat, I do not drink, I do not ride in the car with strangers in my dreams. I will bust up out of there. So the lady tried to give me a frappe. She tried to give me a frappe. It was in a cup that was open and we're in a bank. And I'm like, it was like a glass cup. And I'm like, where the fuck she get this metal spoon from in the bank? So, these are red flags that's flying out to me. I'm paying attention to everything that's in this dream. So when she was stirring the cup and she was like, here, drink this frappe. And I'm like, no, I don't, I take the frappe, but I don't drink it. And she was like, why aren't you drinking your frappe? Y'all, I got out the dream. I got out the dream, and when I got out, I drank. I woke up, and I said, I rebuke any offerings that was made in the astral rounds. I got up, y'all know. I went to my altar. This is what I did. Walked through my house. I got back in the bed. I'm back in the bed. It's 6 o'clock right now. My husband's alarm went off at 4:30, but shit, I was back in the bed at that time, and I'm just like, okay, I'm going back to sleep. I go back to this bank. I'm like, okay, I ain't say I want to go back to that dream, but I go back to this spiritual bank. When I'm at this spiritual bank, the lady, I'm not at the table anymore. Now I'm talking to the girl that is at the third desk, right? I'm back in the bank and somebody is at the first and the second and the third desk. But now I'm talking to the lady that is at the third desk. And I have the lightseer deck, but I also have it's another deck that I personally have that I use to expose black magic. I know that my ancestors and all of them, I know that they're with me in this deck, okay? This particular deck that I have, right? So I have that deck in my hand, and I also have the lightseer deck. I have 13 cards. Okay. I got chills too. Okay. I have 13 cards. And I think that I'm talking to this girl named Brianna. I think her name is either Brianna or, I don't know. It started with a B though, right? I'm talking to her. And the lady who name was India is behind the counter. Okay. She is looking at accounts. Okay. She's looking over accounts. Brian, a particular spiritualist, his name is, I don't know if his name is Brian, but I'm assume that these are names that I heard. So I'm assuming that the male, I'm just going to say the male spiritualist is standing up at the table trying to get people, into the spiritual bank or whatever the case is. He's at the table, at the rectangle table. He's standing up. Um, I think the India person, well, let me not say the India person. Let me not say that, okay? Because I don't know what everybody's name was, but these are names that I heard. These are names that I see. Um, so let me not say that, but these could be people. You're either on this side of the dream or you're on the other side of the dream, right? So I'm talking to one of the spiritualists, and she is like, I had 13 cards counted out of the lightseer deck, right? Or they were pulled. I pulled them. And I'm telling her something. I couldn't really understand what I was telling her, and we were having a conversation. So she was like, okay, I have to confiscate these cards. I'm like, what? She was like, I have to take these cards. So at first, and she's looking so confused. She's like, they're telling me to take these cards right here. And I'm like, why are you trying to take my cards? I need my cards. I have readings to do today, right? And so she's like, they told me to take your cards. Like, and I'm like, who told you to take my cards? I don't even know you. Like, who told you to take my cards? I came in here for a reason. I came in here to whatever the reason was that I was there. I don't particularly know why I was there, okay? So, I mean, it's a spiritual bank. I'm a digest all this later when I pull cards on it myself. But I'm telling y'all right now, because there was a loud warning. Like this, share this immediately. Hurry up, share this. That's why I woke up and I just shared it. Okay, so she takes my cards. Right? The lady that is in front at the desk that's in front of us, she's listening to the whole thing. She's listening to the whole interaction and stuff. And the woman is giving me like eye contact, like I'm sorry, like she looks sorry that she has to do this to me. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, why are you taking my cards? So I still have my other deck in my hand. She was like, and I'm gonna have to confiscate those too. I said, touch my cards, and I'm like, I am going to fight you if you touch my cards. That's when the other lady turned around and she was like, you're not gonna fight anybody. We're taking these cards. And they had other people's cards. They had other people's cards. They had other people's. I seen cards. I seen a pendulum. There's a spiritualist that actively uses a pendulum. I seen like behind the counter. Because there was also, and this is why I say it was a bank that I was in, because I could see behind the counter and I could see a drive-through. Like I promise y'all, this looked like Chase. Okay, so I'm looking, and I could see a drive-through, and I could see people like dropping their tools off, and they're asking the same questions like, okay, well, how long are you gonna have them, and da 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 da, blah 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 blah, and people are genuinely concerned. There's also people outside. Like when I went outside, because I left out. I was like, okay, when are y'all gonna return the tools? They was like, you can get them back after 48 hours, right? And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. Like, that doesn't make sense. Why are y'all taking tools? Why are y'all taking people's sacred tools? Why are y'all trying to take my cards? Like, and then you talking about you got a conversation. She was like, whatever message I was showing her, it was like a warning for something else that was coming, that was happening, right? And she's like, okay, well, I have to confiscate these cards right here. I did not feel like, I felt this. Okay, I went outside. There's other people out there. They're talking. They're discussing. And they like, well, they took my tools. I can't do my work. This is crazy. I can't access it. I'm like, hold on. Let me go back in there. I'm like, let me go back in there. So I go back in there. And the lady that was sitting down at the first desk when I came back into the dream, the lady that's at the first desk, the second desk lady, they're talking to each other. So I go back to the third desk lady, and she like, listen. She was like, listen, I don't know what is happening here. She was like, I do not know what's happening here, but I'm gonna need you to just leave up out of here. She was like, hurry up and get out of here. And I was like, give me my cards back. Give me back my 13 cards to go with the rest of my deck, right? Go back, give me my 13 cards and let me just go. I was like, but why do y'all have everybody else tools, right? And she was like, listen, it's something going on. I can't really tell you too much. She was like, you didn't drink the coffee. And I'm like, what? How do you know? That was in the very first dream that I had when I first walked into the bank. I was standing at the rectangle table and they offered me coffee. And I declined the coffee and I woke up. So I'm like, what are you talking about? She was like, you didn't drink the coffee. So basically, I know that, you know, um, succubus, vampires, energy harvesters, destiny swappers, I'm telling y'all that they will first try to get you by having you eat or drink something in your dream, and then you wake up and you feel sick. So that's why you're not able to do your work, is because you're feeling under the weather, you feel sick and all that stuff, right? So I'm like, okay, how do you know that? She was like, you did not drink the coffee. You should have drunk the coffee and they would have gave you your stuff back. And I'm like, bitch, no. Like, no. I'm what? So I try to go grab my cards, and I actually, because they had set my cards on top of somebody else's cards. So when I went to go try to grab my cards, I'm grabbing somebody else's cards, but I'm like, it don't matter. All these people outside of the bank, I'm going to hand whoever cards these is, I'm going to hand them to them, right? So the lady that was at the second desk, this bitch tried to run up on me. Like this, and y'all, she was a big bitch. Okay? I hate to even be talking like this first thing in the morning, but this shit pissed me off. This pissed me off so bad. She was way bigger than me. Okay, I don't know if I'm in my dream, if I'm still 5 feet or what, because I'm 5 feet in real life. But I'm like, I don't know if I'm 5 feet in here, but I know I'm still the same size. But she was way bigger than me, and she run up on me. Now, listen. This is why we got to sleep with spiritual tools and all this good stuff, y'all. I'm telling y'all, when you know that you are a fighter, like a spiritual, you are not constantly under spiritual warfare, but you know what you do. You know you expose stuff. You know the type of work that you do. I know the type of work that I do. I'm a ghostbuster, so I go to sleep with spiritual tools. Okay, so this lady tried to run up on me, and I have this my sword, okay, which I don't know how I pulled this out, but it was almost like a spiritual shank, but it was really like a clear quartz. It was a clear quartz. It's either a clear quartz or a cellulite, but it was shaped like a shank. Okay, I pulled that out and I was like, run up on me, come on, cause she coming towards me and stuff. So I'm like, come on, like, come on, bring your ass on here. And I grabbed my cards, but I also grabbed somebody else's deck that's up under my deck, because the cards was sitting together. And I know these was more than 13 cards. I had only left 13 cards in there. And I put the other two decks in my purse, right? My black magic deck, I put that in my purse. And the rest of the lightseer deck, I put it in my purse. So I'm like, run up on me. So she come close to me and stuff. And the people that was behind the counter, they see the whole thing going down. They come from behind the counter and they like, what's going on? What's going on? And I'm like, I want my cards. The man that was in there, the male spiritualist that was in there, he was like, ma'am, just leave. Like, please, just leave. You don't understand what's going on here. And I was like, I don't understand why y'all are trying to take people's spiritual tools. Now, it was giving me like their eyes. When I was looking into their eyes, they were trapped. They were trapped inside of this spiritual bank. I usually don't even, when I wake up with a message like this, I will digest this message. I will write it down. But when I was, so I ended up taking my 13 cards and I took somebody else's cards. I walk out and I said, who deck is this? Right? I walk out of the spiritual bank and I said, who deck is this? And it's so crazy. Let me tell y'all what the business hours on the door was. The business hours was literally from 11 p.m. into 7 a.m. That's how I know that this is a spiritual bank. This is literally 11 p.m. into 7 a.m. So somebody, there's a healer or a spiritualist that sleeps in into 7 a.m. Into 7 a.m. Okay? And this I got out of there. But anyway, so when I walked out of the bank, I was like, who deck is this? And a woman steps forward. A woman steps forward and she was like, that's my deck. I've been trying to get my deck. They confiscated my deck. I went in there. What did she tell me she went in there for? I don't know why she told me. I really want to say she went in there to like check it out or either to open up an account or some sort. And she was like, she went in there a couple days ago. Yeah, she went in there a couple days and she was like, I just been stuck right here. I have been stuck right here. So there is a spiritualist out there that feels very stuck. She was like, I've been stuck right here ever since they took my deck. And I was like, here go your deck back. And when I gave her deck back, the lady that was at the second desk, you know, and I think this was like the branch manager. Oh, it's giving branch manager vibes. It's giving manager vibes. It was so crazy. That person I was talking to, if her name ain't Bianca, her name is Brianca or Bree or something like that. It's either Bree or Bianca. But these are names that I heard in the dream. Brian, Brianca, Bianca, Linda, India. And I literally tried to like, okay, when I first heard India, it was when I was in the very first dream. And I was literally like scoping everything out. And I would have never felt like these dreams was tied to each other until I went back to sleep. But anyway, so when I gave the lady the other deck, when I gave her the deck, she was like, thank you. I've been trying to get my deck back for a couple days now. Da 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 da. The branch manager came out and was like, you don't know what you just did. And I'm like, you can't be taking people's tools, sacred tools. You can't be taking their stuff. And she was like, these people gave us their stuff. So there could be some healers out here or spiritualists or tarot readers out here that are being taken from, harvest from, destiny swapped from, all for the simple fact of like their spiritual gifts, like their spiritual inheritance, all of that. All of that. Or your tools need to be clean. So look, y'all clean y'all tools up, clean y'all desks up, sage y'all house down, close up the portals, okay? Close up the portals Um, there's mad spell work that's happening. There's mad spell work that's happening right now. And it's happening in the Astros, okay? It's happening in the Astros. This lady, she tried to fight me in order to, and that's if this was not one of those type of dreams, right? If this was like a protective dream, or if this was a sacred dream, or this was like a dream with my ancestors or my spirit guides. First of all, my spirit guide wasn't there. Like my spirit guide was not there, and I did not feel protected in this dream. I did not feel protected in this dream. And last night before I went to sleep, there two things happened before I went to sleep. Okay, y'all know I do my mantras. Okay, I do my mantras. Me and my husband did our Lord Shiva mantras, and I literally prayed about a particular download that I had, and I asked for clarity. And I had this download earlier in the day about sharing my story about a spiritualist um attacking me, and I was told to share my story again about the tarot reader that Destiny swapped with me, 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago, 2022. Okay, 2022. And I share this story, but something that came up was, she put up wards. She put up wards and stuff so that I would stop sharing my story. And that's what they want you to do, is be silent, right? And this was 3 years ago. I've come up out of that. I have my destiny back. I'm in a twin flame union. I'm in a kingdom marriage. Like, I'm thriving. Okay? She literally, used my energy, came up. Okay, that's fine. Whatever the case is. It's not fine, but it is what it is. Okay? There's nothing I can do about that. But the only thing I can do is just go on. And I can't just, can't stay stuck in that. So my job is to keep sharing, keep helping the people that have experienced that. I'm a life path number 1. I understand why I went through it. Okay? I absolutely understand why I went through it. But I asked Spirit to allow me to, to help me share what I went through without without so much emotion. Y'all know, okay, because death magic was done on my kid. Well, it was done on my family, and my kid passed away. And so when I be thinking about that stuff, I be wanting to beat spiritual, I be wanting to lay spiritual hands all the time. And so over the last 3 years, I had to get my shit together so that I don't just, spiritually attack people. And messages have come out about that. Messages have come out about that. She wanted me to do death magic back on her because she don't really want to be a mom. She don't really want to be a fucking mom. So that's to each his own. I don't care what the internet present. So I was like, no, I'm not going to send death magic. I don't do death magic, so I'm not going to send death magic on nobody. I'm not going to return to senders and none of that shit. I don't do that. I just, I amp up spiritually, and I'm going to hit you another way. Karma always gets served. It never misses. It never misses. And I actively do work so that it never misses. And, she wanted me to stop healing. She wanted me to stop exposing shit like this. Not just her, but also the people that work with her and shit. So anyway, last night, before I went to sleep, I did my mantras. I prayed. I meditated. And then when I got into bed, I was meditating again. I went to sleep meditating. I went to sleep meditating. So when I woke up this morning with this right here, with this emergency message, I was like, oh yeah, this is for me. And I wasn't going to share it. I promise y'all, I was not going to share it. When I woke up first at 4 a.m., I ain't have it in. I was like, all right, I'll share it later. I'll share it later. I'm gonna go back to sleep, or I was like, maybe I should get up and do a reading. Maybe I should get up and start recording my readings and stuff. But then I was like, no, it's too early in the morning. I don't like to start working this early in the morning. I already got to work all day today. I was like, I'm want to record this early in the morning. So I was like, I'm going back to sleep. I was like, I'm going back to sleep. So I lay back down, go back to sleep. And when I just came back up out of there again, there's people out here that need this message. I seen the people outside of the spiritual bank that need the message. So if you feel like, there's something going on with your account, okay? This could be for spiritualists, tarot readers, healers that are monetized. And people are harvesting on your account. They trying to take from your account. They could be saying anything about you. You could be using a particular deck, and that deck is um compromised. That deck has been compromised. So y'all need to make sure that y'all are cleaning y'all spiritual tools. Okay? A good a good thing to clean your tools with is dragon blood sage. Okay, dragon blood sage. Um, there's other things too. Y'all need to use your own oils, your own products on y'all tools, or y'all need to work with people that fight spiritual warfare. Okay, not harvesters, not money makers and shit like that. Like I'm telling y'all right now. Okay, colonial 1800 is good. Holy water is good. Holy oil is good. Cali oil is good. Incense, mugwort, frankincense, rue. Like smoke y'all tools out, because there is something that, man, these people had so much shit inside this bank. They had this lady had so many decks, and when I was just looking into their eyes, they just looked like they was stuck. They were stuck. And the only one that was really hostile is the branch manager. Okay? That's the only one that was really hostile. Somebody name start with a D too. The letter D. D like David, but I don't think the name is David. A D or E. E like Edward or Ed or something like that, but or Eric or something like that. But there was only one masculine in my dream. There was only one masculine in my dream that was working there. And these people, they working there, but I didn't feel like they really wanted to work there. I really didn't feel like they wanted to work on the other side. But they was stuck. They looked like they had puppy dog eyes and shit. And then I come through and they like, why didn't you drink the coffee? Like, bitch, I ain't drinking shit in my dream. I never drink nothing in my dream. And I'm not gonna start now. I don't care if my mama offered me something in my dream, I'm not drinking it. That's how they do. They get a familiar to offer you something to drink. And that's what it was. Somebody could be offering you a opportunity to work with, there could be another spiritualist trying to offer you a opportunity to work together just to get you stuck in some shit. Just to try to harvest or destiny swap from you or something like that. So y'all need to make sure y'all gotta make sure people intentions is good. I'm not saying don't work with nobody, but what I'm saying is, how does this benefit you? You know, does this put you back in energy of feeling chaotic, or like what? What? And you know what's crazy? After I had left there too, after I had left there, right before I woke up, I did an intuitive talk, and I talked about how I had overcame black magic. I had told y'all, what I did to, break a destiny swap, what I did to break, to cord cut the energy. And I know people got these cord cutting rituals and stuff. Those absolutely work. They work. Cord cutting absolutely work. But you have to do shadow work. You can't just say, "Okay, I'm gonna do a cord cutting." You have to do shadow work. If you do not do shadow work and you cord cut, banish, or any of that, that shit coming right back. The problem is coming right back up. The problem is coming right back up. It doesn't go away. It does not go away, especially if it has anything to do with a twin flame journey, a soul mission, or karmic justice. The issue comes right back up. Not right back, but it's going to come back up in this lifetime. Especially if the other people that are involved, if they're doing shadow work. This is how you know whether or not people are doing real shadow work. Okay? If your shadow work involves inner child healing or another karmic, that is going to come back up. You can only cord cut and banish people out of your energy if it's over and done with. It's no amount of spell work or healing work or destiny swapping or any of that can happen, and the other person is determined to heal and you're not, you just want to cord cut or banish it. Shit, that shit gonna come right back up. I don't care if it's a relationship, something that's a part of your soul mission, your soul journey that you're supposed to figure out this lifetime. You have to resolve that. It has to be resolved. It has to be resolved. So, anywho, it's so funny. This person name is Miela, and that's one of the spiritual, not this particular person, but the name Miela. This better not be Miela, but anywho, the person named Miela, this other dark spiritualist, her name is Miela. Her name is Miela, and I've been took all my, I ain't get her no energy, no time, or nothing like that. Spirit absolutely kept me from her every time. I would. She's one of the spiritualists. Not this girl that's on my chat, but there is a spiritualist out here named Miela. She's one of the ones that I had exposed. Um, she tried it. She tried it with me. She tried it. She tried it. She absolutely tried it, and I will always, she would try to always get me into her classes and stuff like that. Not just me, but like get people into her classes. And I will always miss her classes. I will always miss her classes. I was like, no, I don't know. I took one class with her, and the whole time I was sitting there, and I'm just like, and it was a cord cutting class, and the whole time I'm like, yeah, this ain't it. She would try to get me into money classes and stuff like that. So y'all beware of that. And she was a voodoo practitioner. She, yeah, she was trying to destiny swap with one of the voodoo priestess, one of the voodoo mumbos. I'm like, girl, that's wild. That was so wild to me. So, and I ended up talking to the mumbo about what had happened. This lady was selling tarot cards and nobody ever received their products. Nobody. I did order some tarot cards from her, but I never got my shit. So I went ahead and reported her ass on shop. Anybody that I don't really know or fuck with like that, I'm always gonna order some shit through shop or PayPal or something like that. Somewhere where I could dispute your shit. So I just went ahead and reported her ass through shop. Like, absolutely not. So, but nobody received their tarot cards. That woman that took mad trips in and out of the country. I'm like, oh yeah, she a fraud. But anywho, so it's funny that this person name is Miela Star. But I think this might be somebody else. I'm gonna have to look at her page. This could be this other girl too. But I find that funny. So anyway, y'all, that's the emergency read. Look up to my not emergency read, but that's the emergency download or whatnot that I got this dream that I had. I think that was it. Yeah. The branch manager tried to fight me. And I was like, oh yeah, no. She tried to fight me inside the bank and when I gave the lady back her thing. She all in my face and shit. And I'm like, bitch, come closer. Well, trying to get in my face. And I'm like, come closer. And see what I do to you. Come closer. I should have just did it. Look, I should have just did it, but I didn't. I woke up. I was like, let me get the hell up out of here. Let me get the hell up out of here. So maybe it's for somebody else to do. So that's the message, y'all. I love y'all. I'm going to talk to y'all later. I'm going to pull cards. I'm going to pull out my lightseer deck and my Barbara Walker deck. I'm going to pull out both of them decks and see what the message is on this dream. But I also have another, because Spirit told me too, on that live that I did a long-ass live, a 5-hour live, talking about how I overcame black magic and all that stuff. I'm gonna make that video smaller. I'm gonna redo that video because I have a shorter script to that. I have a shorter script to that. And so I'm gonna redo that video and I'm gonna make that video private right there. That particular, I might not make it private, but I'm gonna redo it. I might retitle it. I'll cross that path when I get to it. Look, I'll cross that path when I get to it. When I get up and properly look at it, look it all over. So I love you guys. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye.